Russwater RPG, spells, techniques, and abilities. All PCs can learn spells or spell-like abilities, called techniques, so long as they can flavor it in a way to make it suitable for their chosen build. Some spells may require the PC to go on a quest to learn as part of gameplay. PCs can swap their spells, technique abilities by undertaking study or training during downtime at the academy, preparing for whatever adventure awaits them next. The aim of this is to allow the players and GM to have fun trying new things they may not have been willing to attempt if their choices were more permanent or constrained. All abilities, spells, techniques can be written down or remembered in some manner. These are called inscriptions, but could be referred to as things like scrolls, arcane spells, divine prayers, primal incantations, manuals, or treatise, etc. These are usually recorded in some kind of book or device that could be found, purchased, stolen, examined, etc. Purchasing or acquiring an inscription usually has a common going rate of around 50 GP multiplied by the ability's level squared, i.e. a third level spell inscription could cost 50 times 3 is equal to 450 GP to acquire. Like most things, selling an inscription might net the PC half its value in classic RPG style. Spells can be flavored to be different or non-magical in nature to suit a PC or creature's concept/theme. These abilities usually cost an action to cast. Players and GMs can work together to create new abilities and inscriptions by going through a process described later in the document. Common spell names. The RPG includes a list and links to common spells and concepts from various versions of D&D over the decades. Exactly how these spells work at your table is up to you. Concentration. Some spells or techniques require concentration. Rolling a critical failure natural 1 on an action or attack will break your concentration. Being attacked with a critical hit natural 20 also breaks concentration. Abilities. Rolling for success. This system does not use spell slots. Abilities cost hit points and require a DC roll to attempt. The hit point cost of an ability is equal to the ability's level squared, i.e. a third level spell would cost 3 times 3 is equal to 9 hit points to cast. Higher level creatures attempting more powerful abilities need to be protected by allies while they use these powers that are going to quickly drain their hit point pool. A D20 ability score check is rolled to determine whether the attempt at using the spell or ability was successful. It is possible to fail, and the attempt have unforeseen outcomes or consequences, especially when using magic. The more powerful the spell or ability, the more drastic the unforeseen outcome could be. To successfully attempt a spell or ability, you need to roll above its level. For instance, to cast a third level spell, you need to roll above a 3 on a D20, above 9 for a 9th level spell. The value also helps the GM determine how successfully the spell or ability was attempted and can also be used if the spell or ability requires a saving throw to be put against any target's ability score values, or the GM could choose to determine the level of success based on the scaled outcomes of the core roll mechanic. If they fail the roll, the spell, ability did not work as intended, having either no effect or an unintentional effect determined by the GM. Rolling a natural 1 is always a critical failure. The caster or someone close to them takes levels of exhaustion equal to the spell level attempted. Examples of unintentional effects could include: caster takes a condition from the D&D 5 ESRD Madness or PF2E Madness or another TTRPG. Caster takes an effect from one of the many random effect tables available on the internet or in other TTRPG systems to help determine the nature of what occurred, like the NetLibram of Random Magical Effects version 2.00 by Oryx. Rolling a natural 20 is a critical success, and the GM may determine that the spell or ability includes an unforeseen beneficial effect or causes maximum damage. PCs are going to need to work together, protect, and support each other when using their high-power but high-risk, high-cost abilities. Attempting a leveled spell or ability you do not know. You can attempt to cast a spell or attempt a leveled technique you don't know. If you do not have the spell requirements or don't know what you are doing, nothing happens. If you have the spell requirements and have a rough idea of how the spell is cast and seen the spell successfully cast before, you can properly try. You need to roll above 10 plus spell level. For instance, to attempt a 9th level spell, you need to roll above 10 plus 9 is equal to 19, so a 20 is required. Learning a new spell or spell-like ability and casting it for the first time can be a very dangerous pursuit, not to be done without preparation, precaution, and assistance. Attempts without the inscription. Without the inscription, whether you succeed or fail, you will take levels of exhaustion equal to the spell level. If the attempt is unsuccessful, any required material components are consumed or destroyed. If you do not have the inscription, you will need to have 5 successful attempts of the spell by these new spell/ability rules before you can write your own inscription and start attempting the ability by the regular spell casting rules. Learning a spell ability with the inscription. If you have access to an ability or receive the ability as part of a quest reward, the GM can decide that the provider took the time to teach you the spell ability properly, including providing the inscription and necessary instruction, so you are able to safely attempt the ability. GM could choose to montage your learning or just have it happen not as part of gameplay. If you have come across an inscription by other means and wish to attempt the ability with the inscription you found, you will take half the levels of exhaustion rounded up if you fail the roll, and no levels of exhaustion if you succeed. It is also a good idea to have assistance, so you can try with advantage. If you have the inscription and successfully cast the spell once by this method, you have successfully learned the spell and can now use the regular spell casting rules.